What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tom here with Tom Ria Sports, and we're back. We're going to recap Week 11. We'll also give you our Thanksgiving picks. Obviously, if you haven't heard already, the Steelers-Ravens game has been moved to Sunday, so only 2 games tomorrow evening. We'll get to that later, though. Let's start off with last Thursday's game between the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Seahawks, I believe, were 3-point favorites at home, which kind of shocked some people as they've been reeling to that date. They come out strong. They get a big victory. We actually picked them to win and cover, so good start for us this week. Cardinals, Kyler Murray had a little bit of a shoulder issue, but I think he's going to be fine. That division's going to be real close, especially with the Rams playing well as well down the stretch. But big win for Seattle. Defense probably had its best game of the year. We'll see how they play going forward. The first game of Sunday is Eagles-Browns, another shitty weather game. Browns were 3-point favorites at home. We picked them to win and cover. They ultimately did. They win the game by 5. Again, same formula for Cleveland. Good defense as they shut out Eagles in the first half. Solid running game. Chubb had over 100 yards. Hunt had a touchdown, almost 2. One got taken back on 4th down. Not taken back, but ultimately was reversed, which was the right call. But Browns win. They improved to 7-3, looking like they might have a really good chance of getting in the postseason for the first time in a long time. So hopefully they can keep this going. Falcons-Saints. Saints were 3.5-point favorites at home. Taysom Hill getting his first start at quarterback of his career. Saints defense is just the hottest defense in the league right now. I mean, I think even hotter than Pittsburgh these last few weeks. They've been unbelievable. They improved to 8-2. They shut out the Falcons in the second half. Just a great performance all around by them. Taysom Hill played okay at quarterback. We'll see how he does going forward, but Saints win. Falcons fall to 3-7. We picked the Falcons, so first loss of the week there. Bengals, Washington. This is a tough game. I did do a couple parlays, couple bets, and I had the Bengals winning. I was kind of shocked when they were the underdog here, and they were in pretty good position. They were leading early in the third, 9-7. Weird score, but once Burrow got hurt, it was over for them there. They get shut out in the second half. Washington's defense stepped up. Alex Smith played well enough to win. They obviously did that. The run game was going. Bengals fall to 2-7-1. Washington was 1.5-point favorites. They win and cover. We'll see them tomorrow night. Lions, Panthers. Man, this was an ugly game. I had Panthers 1.5-point favorites. They ultimately obviously win and cover. I mean, Lions without Galladay, without Swift, without Amendola, they really couldn't get anything going. I mean, to get shut out, I mean, that's tough. That's tough to accept, especially against a Panthers defense that is, I think, better than most people would say. But I don't think they're a shutout type of defense. They improved to 4-7. PJ Walker gets his first start and win in the NFL. I think he's going to start again this week, but we'll have to wait and see. But big win for the Panthers. Tough loss for the Lions, as they also are going to play tomorrow. Steelers, Jaguars. Game went just about how everyone expected it to. Jaguars dominated throughout, Steelers. Steelers dominated throughout. Jaguars fall to 1-9. Looks like they're going to go with Mike Glennon as the starter. Steelers were 11-point favorites on the road. They win and cover. Big day for Big Ben. Defense played awesome. Steelers 10-0. Titans, Ravens. Awesome game. One of the better games of the weekend. Back and forth. Big fourth quarter by the Titans propel them to get to overtime. Stephen Gostkowski, who hasn't had his best season, obviously, did a lot of good things this game, I think. He hit a lot of big field goals that kept them in the game, so I want to give a little bit of a shout-out to him. Titans ultimately win the game on a last-second touchdown, or not last-second, but an overtime touchdown by Derrick Henry, and they cover. We picked them to cover the 6-point spread. They're actually 6-point underdogs, which still was shocking to me. Ravens are reeling a bit. They get some extra time. They'll play Sunday against Pittsburgh. Patriots, Texans. Texans get a big home victory. Not big in the sense that, they're going to compete for a playoff or anything like that, but their offense played pretty well this game, and their rush defense played better. Their pass defense was atrocious. Cam Newton had almost 400 passing yards, but their rush defense did look better. I think Texans at this point, they just got to start building towards something. They're obviously going to have a new coach next year and new GM and a lot of transition. So to string out a few wins against decent competition, I think is big for that franchise. They were 2.5-point underdogs, and I actually picked the Patriots to cover. I thought Patriots would maybe get a couple wins in a row here, but they did not. They do not, and they fall to 4-6. Going to be really tough for them going down the stretch. Dolphins, Broncos. This game, I mean, somebody commented on my video last week for the picks heading into to Sunday, to the weekend slate, and they picked the Broncos. And hey, credit to him. I don't exactly know who it was, him or her. But Broncos, they get a big home victory. I mean, just very shocking, really. I mean, Dolphins were 4-point favorites. Their defense was playing phenomenal. They still played pretty well this game, only giving up 20 points. They gave up a lot of yards, though, especially a lot of yards on the ground. So Tua had his worst game as a pro. He got benched. Fitzpatrick brought him all the way down the field and threw a touchdown, which ended the game late in the fourth quarter. Dolphins get a tough loss. They still are in a pretty good spot to make the playoffs, especially with the extra playoff spot and maybe potentially 2 spots this season. But Dolphins lose, fall to 6-4, and don't cover. Another tough loss for us and bettors around the world. I'm sure a lot of people had the Dolphins here. Jets, Chargers. Chargers were 10-point favorites at home. I felt that was too high. They're just not a reliable team, so I took the Jets to cover. And they did, which is nice to see because I'm always hesitant to take the Jets. They're a tough team. They're one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. They played decent early on, pretty bad in the middle, and then had a little bit of a late push, but actually had a chance to, I think, win the game. I mean, if they score a touchdown, kick the extra point, I think they had the ball at the end of the game, but obviously couldn't do it. Chargers win by 6, so they do not cover. They improved to 3-7. Jets 0-10. Packers, Colts. This probably was the game of the week. Our second best, third. It was definitely top 5 for sure, top 3. Packers, Colts. Packers came in at 7-2. Colts were 6-3. Colts were at home. It's funny because Colts defense has been touted all year and definitely one of the better ones in the league. And they did step up in the second half, but that first half, I mean, Packers were all over them. They played extremely well early on, but only scored 3 points in the second half, including overtime. So great job there by Indy and their defensive coordinator, Eberflus. Interesting name. But Colts get the late fumble on Valdez-Scantling, and they ultimately get an easy field goal to win the game. So big victory. We'll see what happens with both teams going down the stretch, but 2 very good teams I expect to compete throughout. Colts were 1.5-point favorites. They cover. I picked the Packers. It was looking good. It looked like that after they got the stop and they went in overtime, and it looked like they were going to drive down the field, but obviously not the case. So Colts win. Cowboys, Vikings, another wild game. Vikings were 7-point favorites. Reluctantly, I took them. It was a tough game to call. I just felt Vikings would win by a touchdown exactly. They almost had a drive at the end of the game to win it, but they couldn't convert on 4th down. Cowboys get a big road victory. And it's big because they're now tied for 2nd, I believe, in the division. So they got a huge divisional game coming up tomorrow against Washington. They're 3-7, right in the thick of things in the lowly NFC East. So we'll see what happens going forward. Chiefs, Raiders. This was a really fun game, probably one of the better games to watch. Just high scoring throughout. Not much defense being played. Mahomes gets the game-winning drive at the end. Chiefs improved to 9-1, but the Raiders, I mean, they're a really, really good team. I think they're better, even better than 6-4 says. I hope they get in the playoffs and really get a chance to win a game or 2. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl contender, but they got to improve some things on defense. But their offense is as good as anybody's. They convert a ton on 3rd down, and they're going to be a good team to watch going down the stretch. But Chiefs look like the best team in football, and they're 9-1. And then the Monday game is Rams-Bucks. This game was another one that was just, I think a lot of people had at least Bucks money line. I actually had Bucks covering here by 4. Bucks ultimately did not. They had a chance again at the end of the game to get a game-winning touchdown or at least a game-tying field goal to go to overtime. Brady did not play well. Goff did. They threw a lot. I mean, you can't run on this Bucs defense, but you certainly can pass on them. They got to shore some things up in the secondary. Their rush defense is probably the best in football, but their pass defense is looking like bottom 10 right now these last couple weeks. So we'll see what Bowles dials up going forward, especially now they play the Chiefs this Sunday, so that should be a wild game. Rams improved to 7-3. Their defense has been on point. Brady's got to fix some things up too. I don't think they've completed a pass of 20 or more yards in quite a long time, so down the field at least. We'll see what happens with the Bucs, but I think they're fine. They're 7-4. I still expect them to make a deep playoff run. And the Rams in a tough division, they're 7-3, a huge win. So that was our picks for the week. In total, I just want to count again real quick. We finished week 11 with a 6-8 record. It's been tough sledding these last couple weeks. Not the worst in the world, but definitely looking to improve upon that. And then heading into week 12, the first two games are Texans-Lions and Washington taking on the Cowboys. Texans are 3-point favorites on the road. This is a really tough game to call because if the Lions at least have Swift back, maybe Galladay, you expect them to win the game. I'm going to actually take the Lions to cover, but I think Texans win. So I'm going to take the Lions to cover the 3-point difference. I think they lose by about 2 or 3, maybe 1 or 2. So I'm going to take the Lions. This is a really tough one to call. I'm not good with Thursday games at all, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the Lions here. And then the Washington football team against the Cowboys. Cowboys 3-point favorites at home. I'm picking Dallas. I think they've played well these last couple weeks, even the Pittsburgh game. I think they win this game and win by more than 3. So that's all of our picks this week. As always, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to throw a subscribe, throw a like on the video, comment, let me know what your guys' picks are, and then we'll be back Saturday with the rest of week 12. Everybody, enjoy your week. Happy Thanksgiving.